श्री योगी रामसूरतकुमार की सर्वं योगी रामसूरतकुमारार्पणमस्तु। With grateful pranams for this yet another huge grace, for chanting His name, we shall go through a drop from the ocean of grace. It is more today the ocean of His teachings, His sayings. The sayings He lived through, every one of them. Every word that came from Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan came from the deep experience of it. When I went through one or two articles in the magazine of the Pavanam, Jnanavali, I found the diary of some devotees and the musings, very interesting, many quotations from Tulsidas, Vivekanandan, J. Krishnamurti, my Bhagwan. And there is so much that I found thanks to Srimati Vasuki Jairaj, who took the trouble at my request to gather them and send them to me. So we shall see some of them in the days to follow. Now today is Kumari, she was then Kumari Nivedita, 91, when she visited with her brother Vivekanandan and a family friend, also a devotee of Bhagwan. They visited him in the Sannadi Street house, and when they were called in, they went and sat in a certain order of their own. Immediately, Bhagwan made them get up and sit as he wanted. Nivedita first, her brother next, and then the family friend the third. Once you enter the presence of Bhagwan, the only will that would act there is His. And even this random precision He observed in so many ways had the precision of His own calculations, His own knowledge of things behind those people. For example, if He ordered some 8 teas, only when there were only 4 seated there, at the time of the tea, there would be 8 people sitting. And what was more, He might not serve the first one first. He would follow His own random precision again, His own calculations. He may call the third person first, and 5th person second. It had its own order. He knew exactly what to do, and He was doing the needful. We simply had to bow before it. It was a ritual of high significance. So in this discipline, arrangement of the seats, no surprising. And then there was another family from Coimbatore, a lecturer, her husband, and their baby girl. Now Bhagwan turned to them after, of course, Nivedita reported about the activities of her father on behalf of the Nivedita Academy, which he was running in Chennai at that time. And then the rolling shields they had made for the function. Everything Bhagwan touched and blessed. And then he started to pay attention to the family of the lecturer. He asked her, the lady, if she was still having troubled thoughts, disturbing thoughts. She said, yes, I so much want to chant your name for so long and want to pay attention to your work. But then you see I'm a wife and a mother, and I'm caught in the family of a householder, and there are so many things that I have to do, forgetting your name. And that disturbs me. And because of my involvement with the family, there are selfish thoughts I could not help. And sometimes the thoughts are very bad, repulsive. I do not know how to handle them. I would like to be left alone to chant your Nama and do your work, your seva. She was highly disturbed about it. Bhagwan looked at her with a certain tenderness and said, don't worry about it. It is understandable. But then, these thoughts, the selfish thoughts, and even filthy thoughts, they come to you. It's only when you leave space in your mind. Fill your mind with Nama, Ramna, or this beggar's name. Do not leave space in mind. Then the other thoughts would rush inside. And you would be helpless before the attack of those thoughts. Because they are rooted and they force upon you. So the only way is, when you are engaged in work, it's all right, you wouldn't be able to chant the name, you wouldn't be able to remember God. But know that God is the goal of life. Whether you are a householder or a sannyasi or a spinster working somewhere, a career woman, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you have to remember this, that God is the goal of my life. Once you are rooted in this, then it won't be so bad. Whenever you get some spare time, after the work, after teaching, after studying your subject, after cooking, after varied household activities, when you get some time, free time, immediately do some worship of God and do some chanting. And this is one way. And again, do not think that they are household duties. They are also my work. Bhagwan says, my work. Sometimes he says Father's work and sometimes he says my work. The rare few times he admitted. When you serve your husband, please know that you are doing my work. When you are serving your children, please know that you are doing my work. Even when you are serving yourself or others, know that they are my work. In this cosmos, the whole cosmos belongs to Father, and every work in the cosmos is His work. There is no other work. Everything is Father's work. Everybody is doing only Father's work, knowingly or unknowingly. But if you do it knowingly, if you are aware that you are doing my work, even sleeping, cooking, bathing, right from the smallest activity up to worship of God or chanting the name, they are all my work. Just be aware that you are only a tool in the hands of God, and then whatever work comes out of you is His work. And then he smiled and handed. Of course, we say all this when there is a cut in the finger, unexpectedly, then we cry and cry out of pain. And later on, we pacify ourselves, saying, oh, it is by Father's will it has happened. But you have to practice. You have to remember, at least afterwards, it happened only by Father's will, and it happened because it's necessary in some way for your connection with Father, and it is grace. And then again he added, whatever work anybody does is only my Father's work. So let people be rooted in the thought that God is the only goal of life, no matter where they are placed and how they are placed in life. This must be at the root of our thinking. Then slowly, slowly everything would change. And then he made fun of Nivedita, saying, Nivedita knows that God is the goal of her life. When she is studying mathematics, she may not remember God, but she knows at the base of thinking that her life is meant for God. She may do her master, she may do her PhD, she may take up a job, but Nivedita knows that God is the goal of her life. Whatever she does is only for the sake of God. And then he laughed. It was a very beautiful morning, and they had such nectarine words flowing from his mouth. And everybody listened to him with rapt attention, absorbed in it. Just think of what an easy way to practice our sadhana, to strengthen our connection with God. He says we have to live the householder's life the way we have always been living. There is no change at all in it. He does not mean to cut you off from your relatives. He does not tell you to go to some cave and sit in meditation. He said just live your everyday life the way you have always been living. But you have this thought that you are living for God and God is the goal of your life. Which means right from the moment you wake up, You take the first breath with wakefulness. Know that the whole day ahead is meant for God. Whatever you think, whatever you speak, whatever you do, you are being a tool in the hands of God. That whatever you think is only for the sake of God. No matter how bad the thoughts are, know that even these thoughts are from God and therefore they are God. It's only when you distinguish that something is bad and something is good. The minute you think that every thought that comes to you is coming from Him, it's from God, immediately you shift from the thought to God. You leave the thought behind and then you remember God. Again, you get another filthy thought or a very bad thought, a very selfish thought. Know that it doesn't matter. Okay, I am not thinking, the thoughts are coming and they are from God. And immediately, the minute you say they are from God, your center of consciousness has shifted to God and you leave the thoughts behind. The thoughts would die themselves after some time because you are shifting your focus on God every time. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel bad about thoughts. You just have to think that even they are coming from Him and shift your focus on Him, leave the thoughts behind. This is what he told me once. He said, whatever thought comes to you when you sit for meditation, know that even these thoughts are coming from Him. It's very true. When we sit here in one place and say, look, I want to think, and then see whether you can think, it's not possible. And the topic that you want to think about will not come to you and other thoughts will rush in. They're not under your control. So the only solution is everything is Father. So the thoughts, however bad they are, however filthy they are still from Him, from the Divine. So the minute you think they are from the Divine, you are paying your attention to the Divine, leave the thoughts, forget the thoughts. This is meditation on Him. It's a very, very effective practice. A very practical one, very effective one. So the shift should be every time, any thinking, any talking, any activity, you have to shift your focus to God and leave the activities, leave the talking and thinking that you are doing it. You are only a tool in His hands. Everything is happening as per His will. And still, you can also add some time, God, I have been thinking that I am talking, I am doing everything, so I am offering them to you. So offer them to Him. There was such flow of words from Bhagwan, very instructive, very informative, and very practical sadhana. This we have to remember. Even Nama chanting is karma. Nama chanting is an action. Only thing is, it's a subtler action. There are physical action, gross action, subtle action. Nama chanting is still gross, but it carries a subtle energy. So it's a subtle action. So all that he told me once, it's no use if you say that you have been chanting the name. Can you chant the name? It's my Father who made you chant. So give the credit where it is due, God. So everything that we do, we owe to God, His presence inside us, which activates our brain, which puts thoughts in us, and activate the whole being into our role play through the day. So let us remember this along with this Nama chanting, and let's remember that the only goal of life is God and that we are only tools in His hand. And let us fill our days with His Nama as much as possible, with prayers as much as possible. Now today's prayer, before offering our today's prayer, there is one thing that he added in between which I forgot to say. He said when Morarji Desai became the Prime Minister of India, many people rushed to congratulate him, and some of them said, "Oh, you have attained your lakshya, the aim of your life." And immediately, pat came the reply from Morarji Desai, "What are you saying? Becoming Prime Minister is not the aim of my life. God realization is the goal of my life." This is how he answered, and this is how rooted you must be in God. So Bhagwan added this example to substantiate his point, for us to remember again and again. The more we recall this, the more we get rooted in the thought. And so today also, we should offer our prayers with the remembrance that as tools, as per his activation, that we are doing this. I remember once when I was made to read Secret Doctrine at Sudama, a very difficult to understand book, page after page after page, 600 pages. Because it was possible because of his presence, it was possible because he said, read it out. So I was reading it out, and then I raised this question, Bhagwan, I did not understand anything at all, so what's the point in reading page after page? Bhagwan said, Father wants you to read Devaki, and Father will put it to use. That is the instruction for the whole life, for everyone. Father wants us to do things, so he activates us into doing things. And Father will use them for his own sake, but you have to be aware of it, that you are a tool. What a beautiful, simple way of saying. What a beautiful demonstration. So let's offer our prayers, today's prayers, knowing that even these prayers are coming from him as part of his divine plan. It is by his divine plan we have landed in today's situation, the whole world.